Another week means it's time to go check another master to get another 5 crucial questions answered with. Let's go. Okay, Kung Fu Chronicles, we are back, and if you guys have not subscribed already, go ahead and do so below. Hit that little bell so you can get all the notifications when I upload new videos. This time I'm at Hazeltine Park in Van Nuys, where I came to meet Sifu Don Hamby and Sifu Rosa Tornado, who teach Hungar Kung Fu to their students. Let's check them out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so I'm here with Sifu Don Hamby, and he is teaching out on Hazeltine Park. Sifu Don, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Let the audience kind of know like how you got your start, how long you've been training in Kung Fu.
Well, I got my start back in 1976 at Buksan Kong Silum Pai Kung Fu Academy. The 70s were the days. I mean, those were the best days of my career. That's when I started my journey in martial arts. And I learned Hungar and Trolley fight.
What brought you more towards, had you leaning more towards Hungar? What was it about Hungar?
I don't know, the spirit of it. I mean, both styles are good, and they come from the same temple. You know, back in the day, they had a lot of Shaw Brother movies.
Sure.
And so me, Troy, and all the guys, you know, Kisu, we used to all hang out down in Chinatown here, and everybody was watching those martial art movies. And thanks to Lao Gao Nguyen for creating those movies and putting them together, because when I looked at it, I said, that looked like some of the stuff I learned at school. And see, it was my first year in school there, so I didn't know that much about the martial arts, even though I read a lot of books and things like that on it. I was just walking in Hollywood one day, and man, I ran into the school. So at the movies there, I said, oh, and the first movie I saw was the Krucial Questions, and that was so inspiring. Right? I want to be like those monks, you know. I mean, and everybody was walking around with the Kung Fu uniforms and things on. I mean, Kung Fu hit America like a storm, like a plague, man, like a pandemic. I mean, everybody was involved in this stuff, you know. And I felt fortunate that I just, by a fortuitous event, I ran across Buksan Kong School, and they were teaching their own style. And I looked at that, and I looked at the movie, I said, that's the same stuff. So I was inspired by my teacher when I would see them perform and stuff. I said, oh, I want to learn that. And it was just the atmosphere at that time. It's conducive to learning the martial arts.
Got it. I'm glad you brought up Sifu Buksan Kong because his school is legendary. Now you know my Sifu Kenneth Edwards.
Oh yeah.
When I first started, he used to tell us a lot of stories and stuff about you in that school. Basically, you became known as like the enforcer, right? Yeah.
That's my bad, motherfucker.
When Sifu Buksan Kong would have problems, he would call out Don to make sure any challenge in the school.
I had to handle some games at that time.
Right?
We had some Looney Tunes came in there, man. Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Oh yeah.
But now specifically, I wanted to always ask you this because I think I heard the stories when you went out to Hong Kong. I think at the Wong Fei Hung Museum.
Yeah.
You got challenged.
Yeah, man. These guys thought I was an actor.
Okay.
And so the tour guide we had with us that was taking us around, it was one of Lam Joe's old students. He was about 78 years old. And so he came to me because I was looking through the museum and he said, Don, I want you to go out and show a few techniques because they put on a beautiful show for us. The line dance is exceptional, man.
Right.
And so I went out. Of course, I didn't speak Mandarin, neither did this guy. And so I told him to throw a punch and he wanted to know why, you want to throw a punch. So eventually, I put it together. I told him, I said, well, throw a hook punch here, so I was going to show him the iron bridge. And I told him to throw the hook. I mean, he used force. And I said, oh, you want to fight? That's when I knew, yes, that's when I knew what his intentions were. But my tour guide didn't tell me to spar with the guy because I had a meniscus tear in my knee here, and my Sifu Don Hamby gave me a treatment. He said, Don, kind of stay off of it. We got there. They had the cameras rolling. I thought they had this thing already set up or something, man. And so anyway, that guy, he came after me, man, and he tried to kick. And I said, wow, this guy's coming hard.
He looked aggressive.
Yeah, so when he kicked, I used what we call the chenchi technique.
Yep.
I mean, these things just automatically come out. And you can ask my student Rosa. I was training her and my son, and I said, you have to always be ready. You never know when something's going to happen. I was an old man. I was like 50-something, and this guy was
still
in
not
his
that
20s.
old, but yes.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and you never know. But I never thought I would be challenged there. Right. Yeah.
But it looked like it started off a little friendly, then it just escalated.
Oh, no, his intent was
to really...
Oh, yeah, because
it did look like you were showing a lot of restraint.
yeah.
Even though you were like, all right,
oh, yeah, I showed restraint, but no, he was serious.
Right.
And so he got angry when I hit him. Then when I moved around him, you know, I kicked and punched at him. I could have hit his chin because he wasn't blocking or nothing. Right. Because see, when I fight, I use the force in there on him, right? And then I would have gone to his groin, and that's when he was trying to size me up to get that kick in, and that's when I whacked. So I had to chastise him and his classmates.
You don't ever come in my house acting like no fool.
Got it.
You're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today.
Yeah.
Now, Sifu Don, can you show me maybe a technique or two that's maybe a signature in Hungar, a couple self-defense techniques?
Oh, yes, of course.
You're goddamn right.
Hungar will push the other hand, will go in, and then
come in.
Then we'll come in and smash to your body like that. Okay. One last thing is,
One more thing.
we will come here and shoot here, and then
Oh, nice. Yeah.
right? And then flip. So it's always gripping.
Right.
Always gripping.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
Here, right?
Yeah.
And you just
Very
snap
similar
down.
to Eagle Claws, matter of fact. We do a lot,
Yeah, we always want to get those things. So we always grab. We'll come here and grab, and grab the tissue like that and pull.
Let them know you're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Sifu Hamby, for those that may want to train with you out here, can you give them a little information how they can reach you and everything?
Oh yeah, you can call me 213-364-2171, or you can email me at hamby111@earthlink.net.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, the feature's called 5 Crucial Questions for Kung Fu Masters. I'm ready to ask you. You ready for it?
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Come on with it. Okay, a lot of people, when they first start to learn the Kung Fu in my class, they see some of the advanced students doing these wonderful forms, and that's what they want to do. And not realizing that, you have to go through the basics. And they find that out through their consternation that, oh, I don't know how to move my legs, I don't know how to move my feet, even though you don't have to be told how to walk and how to twist and turn and stuff like that. But for some reason in Kung Fu, you have to be taught those things. So the basics aspects of the martial art, everyone has to start from the flow up. Not like in the 36 chambers where they start from the 36 chamber to the first chamber and then find out that you're not qualified to be there. So so a lot of them want to learn flying kicks and these types of things, and they don't understand that everything has a base to it. Okay, in the beginning, my Sifu used to talk about building strength and power. And I used to wonder, how can you build strength and power by doing the forms of things? So I used to see guys breaking bricks and stuff like that, which I thought was fascinating. So I learned that. I practiced the iron palm for years, in the morning and at night. And my Sifu showed me how to train my hands. They got very strong where I could break the concrete, the sidewalk. I would take pieces of that concrete when I saw someone working on the street, and I would ask them if I could have some of that concrete, and they wanted to know why. I just like to have it. So I used to take it home, and I used to practice chopping it off like that. And so I helped some of my classmates, but I wanted more than that. So I went to Taiwan and went to one of the Kung Fu schools they have there, and I saw this guy bent this, well, he called me up and wanted me to hold this bar, this board on my abdomen. And he put this rebar there. It was a 1/2-inch rebar. And it had a hole in the 2x4. And he put it in there, and he wanted me to hold that thing, so I had to use my stance. And man, I tell you, that guy, he went through his breathing, his whole body turned red. And he was about maybe 140 pounds, I would say, at the most, about 140 pounds. But he was solid muscle. And when he pushed on that bar, on that rebar, he put it in his throat, and I looked like that. I said, wow, you know, and he pushed that thing and pushed me across the floor. Wow. Right? And I felt his power. And so one of his classmates got behind me to help stabilize me. And man, I tell you, that guy breathed in, and it was just unbelievable. And when he pushed that bar, I could feel his force from that small body that he had. And it just curled up like it was just a noodle or something, you know. Yeah. And I was just fascinated with that. So I told my tour guide to ask him, how did he do that? Because I thought that was just extraordinary. You putting it in the soft part of your throat here. Yeah. And so he didn't want to tell me. And so later on, I guess he thought about it, and he came and said, well, you have to drink this elixir that we have. I guess it's some type of tea. And then they meditate. And they said, you take a stick, put it in the corner, and push against it every day. Just keep pushing against it. And then you have to practice this internal breathing. Well, I forgot that I had learned the internal breathing, which is the steel wire, which is very well known for our style. And that develop your internal organs, make them strong, and make you strong internally. And so at the school, when I got back, my teacher was, showing me, going over the methods of bending it. And so we started with the stick. Man, I tell you, so I was pushing on that thing, but I was using the wrong method. Something spoke to me and said, remember, he said, use the breathing. So I got the stick like you saw there, and I put it in the corner, and I was afraid that I might hurt myself, but something said, you gotta lose the fear. Trust yourself, you know. I put that thing there, I took in the breath, and my Sifu and everybody was looking, everybody got quiet. So, and I really concentrated. I mean, I started sweating, and I could see it in my mind bending. And when I went, and I just bent it, just went, nice. I mean, it was just extraordinary. Nice. I was so happy, man. I was starting bending sticks here. My Sifu was, hey, you bring them out. Right. And then I learned with the spear. Right. You know, and plus I wanted something to show. I told my teacher, I want something to show in public. Okay, first you understand that Kung Fu is a systematic form of combat. Okay, and with the Chinese Kung Fu, there's a lot inside that thing. Okay, culture, heritage, a whole lot of stuff that's in there. Performance, entertainment, healing, exercise. You see, it's a cultural thing. MMA is not about that. And so in life, everything involves yin and yang. That's what the Chinese will call it. So Kung Fu is a complete system of martial arts. It's not just about fighting. And it's a part of the Chinese culture. And their culture is based on peace and harmony. Okay? MMA has nothing to do with that whatsoever. They criticize traditional martial arts because, first of all, they don't understand it. I know this from experience because I've taught hundreds of people, and I've seen them come into school. They have no clue of what we are doing, you see. And so when you have ignorant people, ignorance is bliss. Don't tell me I don't want to know. Right. you know what I'm saying? Yes, and so you have to have someone to explain those things to you. And then MMA think that they're exceptional. And the only exceptional thing about them is that all they do is practice fighting. So of course you're going to be better at fighting if that's what you practice. In Kung Fu, that's not all we're concerned about. We're talking about cultivating the body, the mind, you know, dealing with the human being. You see, when MMA is about destroying and attacking and beating people down. Right. So if that's what you're into, then that's okay. You can look in the Chinese history. There were many great masters there and generals that knew how to deal with 1, 2, 3, 4 opponents at one time. Okay, so you have to understand what happened in China and how they took away the fighting and stuff like that. So a lot of those teachers that used to teach that, they've passed and gone now. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And so now you have a new generation. So that's why I am right now trying to put a book together on techniques, and like you, I concentrate on those techniques and fighting and learning how to learn and understanding about offensive and defensive tactics. So MMA what they're doing is stealing Chinese kung fu techniques. Okay, they talking about doing some boxing and some Thai boxing. Thai boxing comes from China. They just got a different name when it went to Thailand. You see what I'm saying? And striking and breaking and stuff like that, there's a lot of things that are involved in Chinese kung fu. And we're talking about real life situations, because fighting is dangerous and unpredictable. MMA is a sport, okay? And what they do is okay, it's for good entertainment, but they need to stop trying to put down traditional martial arts, especially when they don't understand it. For me, my experience in the martial arts has been great, you know. I've had very good relationship with different cultures. That's one thing I like about the martial arts. In my teacher's school, we had Chinese, blacks, whites, all different colors. And I taught many different cultural people in the martial arts. I've had exchange students from Japan that I used to train right here in Sherman Oaks at my school. I had a school not too far from here. I've had a couple that wanted a Chinese teacher, you know, but I said, if you call me, then obviously you want me to teach you.
I think there must be some mistake. Because you're black.
You are.
And I'm willing to teach you, but if you want a Chinese teacher, then you can go and find one of those as well, you know. But we as black men, we take pride in struggle. That's just a part of our culture.
Of course I'm black.
And me coming up as a boy, we used to fight and wrestle, and that's why when I saw this MMA stuff and they said this is the stuff that we used to do when I was a kid, body slamming people, choking them, tripping them, and these type of things. We didn't use the arm bar, but what the MMA doesn't know is that arm bar comes from the Chinese. You see what I'm saying? So as far as my experience in the martial art as a man of color, I've had it pretty good. I haven't had any problems.
Oh, one more thing.
We must fan the flames of traditional Chinese martial arts, okay? And we must be tenacious and steadfast in our training. We must learn the basics well. And then you gotta have a teacher to teach you about how to apply these hands. That's just one aspect of it. But then you have to go through these different stages of training so that now you will become a complete system, okay? Where you know how to deal with situations, especially when it comes to fighting. So you learn the stances, you learn the techniques, you learn the forms, because the forms are your dictionary, okay? You must know that form well so you don't have to. So when it comes to a technique, like if I want to use a crane technique, it just comes off the top of my head. It's nothing I have to think about because I've done it so much. Something coming straight in on me, I know how to hook and follow with the kick and strike to the face. So you got to get your combinations together, have your fighting together so that you'll know how to apply your self-defense moves. As I said earlier, fighting is unpredictable. Okay, you must know how to fight. Well, you got to have techniques to know how to handle the situation. Okay, and the forms. A lot of people say, "Oh, those forms are just a bunch of dances and whatnot." Well, those forms are used for many different things. Okay, in that form is a history. That's culture. This is your fighting strategies in there. Okay, these are your techniques. Also, it's used to keep your body in shape. If you just want to, some people just want to practice the form because of the art itself. The kung fu is power concealed in elegance. You see, when people see those movements, oh, they're fascinated by it. Oh, what does that mean? And whatnot. So yeah, the form plays a very important role. Form is culture in that thing. You can trace many aspects of a person's life through that form. Like for instance, when you're talking about Hung Gar, the name Hung is synonymous with Shaolin. Okay, so you had Hung Hagung. He was a disciple of the famous abbot Ji Sen. Okay, Ji Sen taught Hung Hagung taught Luka Choi taught Wang Fei Hung's parents, and Wang Fei Hung's parents taught him, and then the last of the students that Wang Fei Hung had was Lam Sai Wing. Then Lam Sai Wing taught our illustrious great grandmaster Lam Zhou. That was his uncle Lam Sai Wing. Okay, and so he passed, that's knowledge passed from teacher to student, and they put that thing in the form. Now at one time they didn't have forms in Shaolin, you just practiced the techniques. Right. Okay, but as it evolved, then you had those forms. So it's very important, and you can trace things from those forms.
So there you go, another 5 questions answered from another noted Kung Fu master. Keep checking for that next one right here, and drop your suggestions for other questions in the comments below. Thanks to Sifu Don and his students for being a part of this video.
This is Sifu Don Hamby, and thank you for watching Kung Fu Chronicles.
Subscribe if you haven't already below so the channel could keep moving and growing. See you guys in the next round, and keep punching.